Today in the Spotlight, we are going to talk about Survey of Disability, Aging and Carers conducted by the Australian Bureau of Statistics in 2015 about statistics around disability and discrimination generally and with employment of people living with a disability.
You.
I am just like you. I love swimming. And I love to go skiing. I go to schools and they ask me questions like how do you use your computer, and I ask them questions like what's your favorite
Welcome to In the Spotlight. I am your host, Uruz. Did you know from 2015 Survey of Disability, Aging and Carers by Australian Bureau of Statistics, almost 1 in 5 Australians were reported living with a disability, that is 18.3% or 4.3 million people. And a further of 22.1% of Australians had a long-term health condition but no disability. A person is considered to have a disability if they report a limitation, restriction or impairment which has lasted or is likely to last for at least 6 months and restricts them in their everyday activities. The different kinds of disability usually results from accidents, illness or genetic disorders. Disability may while affect a person's mobility, communication or learning. It can also affect their income and participation in education, social activities and the labour force.
My name is Alex, and I'm blind. I lost my eyesight when I was 27.
My name is Guy, and I'm severely deaf, which means I wear 2 hearing aids to help me hear. I've been deaf my whole life.
Sometimes people are too distracted to see me, and I have to use what little vision I have to avoid them. This is what I see.
Some people don't understand what I'm going through. It's not my fault I can't hear properly.
How do your sats go?
What? Sorry?
I said, how do your sats go?
This is what I hear. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
How did your... Forget it.
My name's Adam, and I was diagnosed with mental health issues when I was 21, which caused paranoia, extreme fear and delusional thinking.
My name's Jo and I have bipolar, which involves episodes of extreme highs and lows.
I used to hear voices in my head and thought people wanted to hurt me.
When I'm on a high episode, I've been known to spend thousands on shopping sprees, not slept for days, bought a dog and even married a stranger. When I'm on a low, I've self-harmed, overdosed, I sleep a lot and shut myself away. During these times, I'm scared of interacting with people, but I still feel lonely.
My name is Phoebe. I'm 11 years old and I have got cerebral palsy. I am disabled and I cannot walk or jog. I use a special computer to help me jog. I use that by looking at my screen. I am clever. I am just like you. And I don't like people talking to me like I am a baby.
Is this your daughter?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Oh, she's very pretty.
I know, she's lovely, isn't she?
And how old is she?
She's 11.
Oh, can you tell me what's wrong with her?
There's nothing wrong with her. You can talk to her.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hello? Hello? You?
I am just like you.
My name is Jordan, and I have autism, a lifelong disability which affects the brain, how we can communicate, and our ability to understand the world around us. It is very, very hard to fit in.
Hello, my name is Tansy. Hello, my name is Isla.
Isla and Tansy have Down syndrome, which is a genetic condition, which means they have a learning disability. Just like all children, every child with Down syndrome is completely different, but they need a little bit of extra help to be able to understand instructions and join in with activities.
I don't like it when people don't understand my autism, and they talk about me, and not to me.
That boy's so weird.
Tansy and Isla are just like any other 8-year-old girl. They like to do activities such as ballet and horse riding and swimming, and they want to do the same things as their friends, and they don't understand why they can't do the same activities as their friends. So as a parent, really, I would just ask that you take the time to find out how you can help and support them access any activity, and also not be afraid of their disability, and just be open to asking any questions to find out how you can actually support them.
There are millions of people in the world who have a sensory disability.
You might know or meet someone like me with a hearing disability.
Mental health issues can affect people in different ways. You might know someone with a mental health condition.
I'm scared of people judging me because of my illness. Please don't be worried about befriending people with mental illnesses.
You might meet me or someone else with a physical disability. Don't treat us like a baby or ignore us.
When you meet someone with autism or another learning disability, treat them fairly.
Don't turn away.
Don't be worried.
Don't hesitate. Be confident.
Talk to me.
The 2015 Survey of Disability, Aging and Carers introduced a new disability discrimination module to estimate the prevalence of discrimination for those with disability and identify the nature of this discrimination. In 2015, almost 1 in 12 Australians with disability reported that they have experienced discrimination or unfair treatment because of their disability. Young people with disability aged 15 to 24 years were more likely to report the experience of discrimination than those 65 years aged and over. Over 1/3 of women and over 1/4 of men aged 15 years and over had avoided situations because of their disability. The Disability Discrimination Act 1992 provides protection for Australians by making disability discrimination unlawful and promotes equal rights, opportunity and access for people with disability.
My name is Phoebe. I'm 11 years old and I have got cerebral palsy. I am disabled and I cannot walk or talk. I use a special computer to help me talk. I use that by looking at my screen.
Phoebe is very bright and intelligent. She's very driven and hardworking. She's always trying to achieve her goals, and she likes to participate in all the activities we do as a family, so we try and enable as much as possible that she can do the things that we do and adapt them to make sure that she's very much involved, and she loves all that. She's very adventurous.
I am clever. I am just like you. And I don't like people talking to me like I am a baby.
Is this your daughter?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Oh, she's very pretty.
I know, she's lovely, isn't she?
And how old is she?
She's 11.
Oh, can you tell me what's wrong with her?
There's nothing wrong with her. You can talk to her.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hello? Hello? you?
I am just like you. I love swimming. And I love to go skiing. I go to schools and they ask me questions like how do you use your computer, and I ask them questions like what's your favorite animal.
What would you like to do at school?
I like maths.
What would you like to be when you're older?
I would like to be on television.
What's it like not to talk?
It is normal.
When Phoebe wakes up in the morning, she has enormous challenges to overcome, but she's so positive, happy and determined that we don't really see them as challenges, and she certainly doesn't. She's great with people, she's got a winning smile, and she really engages with people that take the time and come up to her and speak to her. She loves that. I'm incredibly proud of her.
You might meet me or someone else with a physical disability. Don't treat us like a baby or ignore us. Talk to me.
Such a beautiful girl. We all know how participating in the workforce is important for social inclusion and economic independence. The employment statistics in the Survey of Disability, Ageing and Carers in 2015 showed that there were 2.1 million Australians of working age with a disability. Of these, 1 million were employed and another 114,900 were looking for work. This means that 53.4% of working age people with disability were in the labour force compared to 83.2% of working people with no disability. Let's hear from people directly involved in such situations.
In the blur of the business crowd, they're easy to miss. The star employees no one really knew existed. That is until you stop and take a good look at former job pariahs like Sean Bolshan, who are suddenly the hot new hires. Sean is a security analyst at CIBC with an uncanny knack for detecting hard-to-spot breaches.
Hey, Sean.
But until a couple of years ago, he was the one who was always overlooked. At 30, this is his first job.
Did you have trouble getting a job before?
I did, because the interview process was difficult.
What was difficult? What part was hard? Did it feel like this?
Exactly like this.
Too many questions?
Too many broad questions.
The broad questions I have difficulty with.
Absolutely.
Sean has autism, a social communication disorder that makes any interview, including this one, painfully awkward.
You have a diagnosis of autism? You're on the spectrum?
Yes.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Well, a lot of people don't really understand what that is. I'm not like that different, but I do have the ability to to see all those details and things, and definitely have a much tighter focus on things.
And that is what got CIBC's attention and got Sean in the door. He's a rising star. Hadi Majnoon is one of the senior leaders in Sean's department and his mentor.
What does his autism bring to the job?
The first thing that comes to my mind is focus and attention to detail. Someone like Sean is just a little bit more of everyone else, and not even a little bit more.
It's way better?
It's a very big strength.
So everybody open up your kit. We're going to start on page 7 so you can get started.
You can give robots some of the credit, or rather the exercise of building them. Sean went through this, and now so are the latest batch of potential CIBC hires. all of them on the autism spectrum, all of them struggling to find a job.
Exactly.
Alan Chris is with Specialistern, a company that recruits skilled workers on the autism spectrum for companies like CIBC. Instead of sit-down interviews, candidates are asked to show rather than tell what they can do.
How would these people fare in a traditional job interview?
The interview is like a barrier in the same way as a step might be a barrier for a person who's confined to a wheelchair. And so what we're trying to do is to find a way, find a ramp, and this is our ramp.
It's an out-of-the-box approach to identify the often astonishing analytical abilities of people with autism.
I've got one wheel. I'm very good at noticing patterns and being able to put that to good use.
It's just much easier to show what I'm capable of doing and what I can do rather than trying to explain it.
Specialistern's goal, to brand and sell the autism advantage. And it's gaining momentum. The company wants to find work for 25,000 autistic adults in Canada. Specialistern is in talks with dozens of companies and has helped nearly 100 people with autism in Canada find work in everything from coding to financial analysis. Specialistern may be leading the conversation, but plenty of other companies have picked up on the buzz. Last spring, the first job fair of its kind in Toronto, exclusively for autistic adults. Specialistern was there looking for more recruits. But so were many others, from the Toronto Police Department, to dairy makers, to IT companies.
Having folks with autism be able to join our workforce and bring that analytical skills that they do tend to have will only benefit us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For a population that is largely unemployed or underemployed, suddenly their disability is in demand. But is it a real wave of opportunity, or as some suggest, just a trendy form of tokenism?
I see this as a step back. I see this as an attempt to define somebody artificially.
Rich Donovan has cerebral palsy. He wants us to subtitle him so his message is clear. And that message is a surprising one.
So if I'm walking into an interview and somebody's thinking, what are guys with CP good at? I don't want to have that conversation in a job interview. I want to have a conversation about how much profit and loss can I bring to your company. Hopefully avoiding the loss side.
We met Rich 3 years ago when he was still living in New York after a successful career as a Wall Street trader. Now in Toronto, he's a consultant to big business and an advocate for hiring people with disabilities, for the same reason you would hire anyone else.
There are many, 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 many people with disabilities who will be rock stars at whatever they do. There are also many people that will fail, just like in the regular population. And that's okay. But we can't start creating boxes that are quite frankly artificial.
But the box, at least when it comes to autism, is still very much in the making, and some are happily stepping into it. When Ford launched a pilot project last year to hire 6 people with autism, Jeff Gebhardt didn't care if his disability got him in the door. After applying for more than 1,000 jobs, he just wanted in. Jeff has an accounting degree, but he lacks the social skills to sell his skills. The only job he could get before Ford was on the floor of a recycling plant. Now he proofreads contracts with the automaker's suppliers.
Nobody's judgmental. They judge me based on the work I do rather than the person I am. So.
Ed Lofton is another Ford hire, the go-to guy for just about any job on the assembly floor.
Sometimes I dust cars, and sometimes I've done things like scanning parts.
Ed's family and other parents were the ones who convinced Ford to give autistic people a chance.
We're not putting them in a box by no means.
Mita Huggins is the director of diversity at Ford. She says Ford bought into the idea because it's not only the right thing to do, it makes good business sense. Ford's plan is to hire up to 24 more autistic employees in the next year. But however well-intentioned, Rich cautions what Ford and other companies are doing only perpetuates the mindset that people with disabilities can't do it on their own.
What do you say to those parents, or to those individuals even, who say, this changed my life, the fact that I got a job?
They're missing one thing. They had to allow their children to take risk, right? So when most of us go out for careers, we made the sacrifices to go do that.
Because of that, though, they'll argue that they don't know how to get there on their own, right? That they need the specialisterns of this world to help them navigate a world that they can't navigate on their own.
They're probably right, but that's not a good approach. Because part of the reason why people with disabilities are struggling with employment is because of this charitable mindset, right? We have to have very real conversations about moving away from that charitable model into a more sustainable market-based model.
You like working with Saji?
Yes, of course, basically, yes.
That may be the ideal, but right now, that marketplace doesn't exist. And John Sicard argues people like him must intentionally create it.
All right, Nick.
Sicard is the CEO of Kinaxis,
Any meetings this morning?
a software company in Ottawa that has hired autistic employees with the help of Specialistern.
How many did you get?
5 individuals with autism, including his son Nick, work here.
Why do you have to do it on purpose?
If you went back 50 years ago, there would be stigmas. There might be stigmas around cultural diversity, for example. I'm not going to hire this culture in. We've gone a long way 50 years. We had to do it on purpose, right? Race, those types of things. Well, someone had to stand up and say, we're going to do this on purpose. Yeah, everyone can sit on the same bus. Okay, well, this is 2017, and we're starting to do something new on purpose. I think 25 years from now, no one's going to think twice about it.
Nick may be the boss's son, but he got a job after shining during an internship here. Small talk isn't his thing, but he's proving he can test software like the best of them. The job gives Nick a sense of purpose and gives the company a valuable employee. And it does that now.
This is not a charity. I look at it as a win-win-win. We win because we get great, innovative thinkers. They win, they start a joy-filled life full of confidence.
It's been great to meet everybody.
It's a good place for these people too. Remember the recruits building robots? All of them got hired. 1 at TD Bank, 4 at CIBC.
Yeah. That would make sense, yeah.
As for Sean, he's gone from just working solo to now troubleshooting in meetings.
That would be helpful to put your perspective as well.
It's a step out of his comfort zone, and it's a step forward. It is, after all, still very new for him and for business in general. But Sean's success now and in the future may prove he and others like him are much more than just a corporate novelty.
As Stephen Hawking said, my advice to the other disabled people would be, concentrate on things your disability doesn't prevent you from doing well, and don't regret the things it interferes with. Don't be disabled in the spirit as well as physically. Thank you for watching us today. Good night.